So this recent cold snap triggered a lot of questions from our viewers on the cold tolerance of lychee trees. So the good news is lychee is actually a subtropical fruit and not a tropical fruit, and so lychee trees can actually withstand lower temperatures than mangoes and many other tropical fruit. Lychees are native to sort of a big region of China, and the ones that were initially brought to Florida came from the southern part of the growing region. There was a big freeze in the late 1800s, and it pretty much killed all of those plants. So from 1903 to 1906, a guy named Reverend W.M. Brewster went over to China, and he brought back a premier variety of lychee from the northern part of the lychee growing region in China, which was the Fujian province. And this particular variety was known as Qianzi in Chinese and loosely translates to Royal Chen Purple. And the purple, I guess, refers to the skin color of the fruit, which might have a slight purple cast to it when compared to other varieties of lychee. It sure looks red to me, but anyway, that's its name. And so Reverend Brewster brought this back to Florida, and somehow along the way it lost its original name and magically became the Brewster lychee. And the Brewster lychee is actually still very popular today. It grows well in Florida and has survived a lot of freezes in a lot of different areas. So the different varieties of lychee have different tolerances of cold weather. But lychee is a subtropical fruit, so in general, lychee can withstand lower temperatures than mangoes and most other tropical fruit. Young lychee trees are more susceptible to cold than the older trees. Often they don't get severe damage until temperatures drop below 28 degrees. With the mature lychee trees, severe damage doesn't occur until about 24 or 25 degrees Fahrenheit. But of course, it depends on the wind that's associated with the cold and also how long those really cold temperatures last. So signs of cold damage with lychee include leaves dropping from the tree, leaves turning brown and dying on the tree, small branches dying on the tree, the larger branches dying on the tree, bark splitting on the branches or on the trunk of the tree, and then of course the death of the tree. So if you just get some branches dying, that's easy. You cut back to healthy wood. So if the tree dies, there's really not much you can do about that except for replace it. So what can you do to protect your tree from cold? Of course, healthy trees withstand cold and all other hardships better. And so try to give your tree the nutrients it needs throughout the year. It also helps in a lot of circumstances with lychee to use mulch, but not against the trunk of the tree. And, so that creates a little better soil and also some slow release nutrients. The second thing is to water your lychee tree well before the cold arrives. When you have more water in a tree, in the trunks and limbs and leaves of the tree, they are more resistant to the cold weather. And so after you've done that, there are a few more things you can do. The main thing is to protect the tree from the cold weather as much as possible. And of course, if the tree is small, you might have the luxury of being able to tent it. And basically a plastic or even tarps over the tree, supported hopefully by like a PVC framework or something, with light bulbs, incandescent light bulbs on the ground or even wrapped around the tree, will make a little micro environment that's slightly warmer than the cold temperatures outside of the tent. So if you have a large tree, tenting is off the table. The only thing you can really do is to protect the trunk of the tree. And this can be done in several ways. One thing that sometimes people do is wrap a blanket around the trunk of the tree. And you can wrap it around several times. It depends, of course, on the diameter of the tree, circumference of the tree. But another way of doing that is mounding dirt around the trunk. That protects from the very cold weather. That's a temporary thing. Make sure you, after the cold weather passes, get the dirt off. Some people use mulch and straw and pine needles and all sorts of things like that. And that's also good. The whole idea with insulation is to trap as much of the air, the warmer air, next to the tree as possible. In some cases, you can actually use household insulation, but this is only for, dry weather. You have to wait for the rain to pass and then put the insulation around the tree. Insulation works because of trapping the air, but if you have a big rain event, all that air is now replaced by water, and all that water next to the tree is not really going to be a good thing. There are other types of insulation that you could use that don't get wet, and so if you have something available, try it out. So remember, lychee is a subtropical fruit. It actually needs a period of dormancy in the winter, which is best achieved if the winter is dry and somewhat cold. Of course, we don't want really, really cold temperatures, but a few spells going into the 30s is pretty much ideal for lychees. With these cold temperatures, of course, there is a risk to damaging the tree, but temperatures in the 30s are great for triggering a bloom. And so with this cold weather, we're hoping that we have more lychees to sell and to enjoy in June. I hope that the temperatures weren't too terrible wherever you are and that you're enjoying lychees in June also.